It's Bourbon Night. Hello, I'm Chad.
I'm Sarah.
Sarah, we have a familiar bottle here on the table. What do we have?
We have Remus Repeal, batch 6. Batch 5 was in our best of contention last year because everybody was saying like,
that it should
ooh,
be.
it should be, it should be. And we were like, I felt good about it, but I don't know that I felt like best of about it. So we put it in there just to see.
Yeah, and it did
all right.
Middle of the pack.
Middle of the pack.
Kind of as we sort of thought it would.
But
I
hey,
guess.
worth knowing, right? Worth knowing, you know, at $100, $99.99 MSRP, worth knowing where it stands. So
Yeah, absolutely.
here we are with batch 6 to see if it's going to go in the best of this year.
But we already poured it, but historically, I just have to say it. Pause for cork pop. Okay, there we go.
You can't not do it.
All right, so this is a combination of anywhere from 8 to 12-year-old.
However,
yeah, I do the.
there's only 2% of the 12-year in here. It's majority, 98% a blend of the 8 and 10-year. There is, with the 12 uses salt,
Yeah,
I
salt
would say.
to taste. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's like 54% of the 8-year, 44% of the 10-year, and then 2% like milk of the 12.
yeah. Okay.
I do like that
Liking
nose.
this nose, yeah.
Ooh, it has a...
Rich caramel and baking spice.
I'm getting like a spiced hot chocolate.
Oh, yeah. With a little bit of peppermint. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe a peppermint stick is in your hot chocolate or something. Do they do that? I don't know.
You can do whatever you want.
I'm going to do it then.
Yeah, I'm liking the notes of the sweetness in combination with those like light spice notes. It's not really spicy.
Yeah.
But it's gentle. I can definitely tell where there's some like big rye components in the bourbon.
Well, sure.
This blend.
Yeah, this is all of the different years are a combination of 21% rye and 36% rye.
So it's a high rye.
From MGP, now known as Ross and Squib. I guess we have to start calling it Ross and Squib
Get
instead
used
of
to it,
MGP.
Chad.
No.
He hates change. All right, shall we?
To your health. Okay.
It's pleasant.
I'm liking the brightness.
There's still a little kiss of that spice on the palate, but I wouldn't say it's like overwhelming. There is a touch more of that like light mint, and it's not like a toothpaste mint or anything.
Well, it's not like
that.
a rye whiskey.
Right, it's not
Yeah.
a rye. It's definitely like a sweet mint. Just a hint. I've said a lot of things.
A hint of mint. You're
A hint of
rhyming
mint,
a
it's
lot over
sweet.
here, Sarah.
Yes, I know. But it works well with that like quelled spice and that sweetness. Again, it is kind of like a peppermint hot chocolate with a little zest to it.
And that's pretty much what I got on the first sip, but let's see here on the second.
I think it's pretty easy to drink.
It's very easy to drink. 100
It's
proof.
a little treat.
100 proof if we
honestly.
didn't say that.
This would be a nice bottle for like the holidays,
Yeah.
I think. Just
But
that
not
little.
strictly
It's not
holidays.
strictly, but like we're going into that season where I feel like this fits really nicely with that kiss of, you know, that bit of rye, but it's not too overpowering. Like if
Yeah.
you're like, oh, I'm not really a rye person, I feel like this is a nice like dip a toe in.
Right. It's not Angel's Envy rye, where I will only drink that on Christmas
Well,
Day.
that's also finished in rum cask, so it's very syrupy and like sweet and mapley.
I know.
I think the 100 proof is working really nicely on this one.
Yeah.
Because of the rye content. I think that's what's making it less of like, it's just spearmint and baking spice. It's got that real nice balance. Ooh.
Nice
I
little...
think I might like this one better than I did the last year's.
I'm 100% on board with that already. From memory, I like this much better than last year's. A nice little Indiana hug working down with the 100 proof. I'm liking that. Not a whole lot of the darker notes, the barrel in here. I think it is definitely leaning more in the rye notes, the spicier, the peppermint. There is that little bit of chocolate there, but not a whole lot of the wood here that I'm tasting.
I think where you see it the most is on the finish. I wouldn't use oaky to describe it. Which, you know, for the age statements, it being primarily a blend of 8 and 10 year, I would think some would be, you know, natural, which is what I'm getting a little, but not too much. It's not like the predominant flavor.
Right. We got 27 and 29% together as the 21% rye, and we only have 25 and 17 as the 36% rye. So really, more of it is that lower
but still
21% rye. That's still high in a lot of people's books. Without looking, I was kind of thinking maybe the 36% rye was more the lion's share, but it's not.
See, but that's why I think it's getting this like...
That's why it's working though.
Right, that's why it's working. It's like taking the best things about rye, or like the most crowd pleasing, I would say, the most approachable things, without going too far into that, again, like that strictly, effervescence, spearmint, wintermint, pine needles, like baking spice, clove area. We're getting just the best of both worlds.
Okay, before we go any further, we want to hit pause and tell you about our home on the internet. It's whiskyambitions.com. It's where you can get the t-shirt that I'm wearing, the long sleeve that you're wearing, Sarah, the Glencairns we're drinking from, all of our glassware, hats, hoodies, bottle cut candles, and more always coming soon. That's whiskyambitions.com.
And you can become a patron at patreon.com/itsbourbonnight and join our community for as little as $1 a month. That is where we release our exclusive barrel picks. Lots of those coming soon. Discounts on that merch Chad was talking about after the episode exclusives and more.
Okay, we'll be right back. Could you confuse this as a rye if it were blind?
Let's see.
Because I think on that 4th, 5th sip, whatever I have, because this is actually very crushable.
It is crushable.
I kind of thought, if this were blind, I might call it a rye. Like a barely legal rye.
Yes. So I think that's what I would call it. But if you gave this to me blind, to determine whether or not it was high rye or not, I would be paying attention to how it felt on my tongue and like where. So let's study.
Let's.
So it does settle like more on the back and the sides of my tongue than it does like up front, but not in a strong way. Like it's not screaming rye at me. Like if I'm paying attention, it's a little bit more focused there. It would be very ambiguous, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, we paid $110 for this. It's a $99.99 MSRP. Let's get down to the brass tacks. Recommend or not, Sarah?
Okay. Well, I mean, last year people got fussy with us because it was an older product, and we said to us it doesn't. When we drink it, the experience doesn't match the price point. People were like, well, in past episodes, you've said, the industry standard is $10 per year, and this fits that, so how can you say it's not worth it? And it's like, yes, that logic is still true, but if I experience something and I say I still wouldn't pay that much for it, who's to determine if that's right or wrong?
Right.
Now on this one, it's predominantly that blend of 8 and 10 years, so $100 makes sense if we go by the $10 per year logic.
The price makes sense, but price makes sense on a lot of things, but you still have to ask yourself, is it worth it?
Would I spend that money on it?
To you.
Yeah.
Is $110, which what we had to pay for it, is it worth it for you?
I mean, I like it a lot. I find it very pleasant. I think a lot of people will like this a lot. I think it's a good product, and if I spent that much money on it, I wouldn't be sad about it.
Right, that's kind of where today, with the rising bourbon prices, that's kind of what I have to ask myself. If I spent the $110, and we did,
would you be disappointed?
Would I be disappointed in this bottle? And
I'd say I'd be pleasantly surprised.
I do like it better than last year's batch, and I would say in today's bourbon market, 110, I feel like it's living up to it. So that's definitely different than last year when I said I would want to pay I would feel like it would be worthy of $50. And then that's when all the comments came down on me saying, Chad, that doesn't make sense because it has 8 and 10 year in this in it, and there go, you should be fine paying. I'm like,
there go.
But taste is taste, man. It doesn't matter.
It's true.
I could order a $100 steak at a restaurant, and if it tastes like it came from Sizzler, then I'm still gonna be mad about it. It's like, but it's a Michelin star restaurant. It was dry aged for X.
It's okay.
Blah blah blah.
I feel like what I would have normally said about this bottle would have been like, I just wish it was higher than 100 proof. I think the reason that I don't feel that on this bottle is that higher rye content, because when it comes to ryes, I don't feel like they need to be as old to deliver the same quality. So I think that's, for me, not as old, I'm sorry, as high of proof to deliver that same quality, that same feeling. So I think for me, that's why the 100 proof is working on this. Like, I think it's allowing all those flavors to shine, and it's not letting that rye become too overpowering. I would like to see how this measures up to other things.
I think we will go ahead and put this in our blind best of the year because we did it last year and we didn't even like that one as much as this one. So
no, I can already see the ones that are gonna
ergo
smash it. But I still want to see where it falls. I want to see where it falls.
We do things blind.
We do it blind.
So I'm gonna give it the recommend.
I also am gonna give it the recommend.
But I will say that I'm not 100% convinced that Ross and Squib does the best things with their own products. I feel like there are other distilleries out there that source MGP, I'm just gonna call it MGP.
Just call it MGP.
And they do transformative things with it that bring out, that makes the whiskey shine more. So I'm not fully convinced that Ross and Squib, who has for the longest time just been a contract distiller for other people who are non-distilling producers, has it down to where they're using their own stuff in the best way. Now, that's not what we were here to talk about, but I just thought I would anecdotally throw that out there.
An op-ed by Chad.
Yeah, there you go.
We'll save that for your blog.
Hey, that's where we gotta leave it. If you haven't subscribed to us already, you can do so by clicking right up here. There's suggestions of other videos down here. We hope to see you over there in one of those. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Chad.
Okay, until next time, drink more bourbon.